Welcome to devlog number 9 for a Fish and Sea, the best to-do list app ever created. To date, we worked on some pretty core systems to the game, and these were two main things, and I actually entirely lied. They're not that core to the game, but they're really cool. First off, we added rarities to all of the fish. As you guys can see here now, all of the fish have rarity backings wherever you put them in the inventory slots, which is really nice because now for the 5 different rarities in the game, you can actually know what you have and you know how much your fish are going to sell for based on the rarity that you have. Now, I've been doing a lot of thinking recently, and I believe we're going to rework this entire island system yet again. I think this is the 3rd island rework in total, but basically we're gonna have this reworked tomorrow. We're gonna begin the overhaul, but for today, we changed the drag time, so your fish drags a lot quicker now. The tap time is 0.15 seconds. So if you tap and then lift your finger within 0.15, it will send it to the sell slot, and if you don't, then it will drag and follow your cursor. It's just a little tiny change that really felt like it was, a little bit clunky at first. I basically just changed this line of code here, and now I have a cutoff that I can alter to make it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter for that amount of tap time versus drag time in the inventory manager. Now, for actually the backings on this, if you guys were wondering how I did that one, if you go over to the inventory script, let's just say over here on the ship screen. If you take the ship screen and then you go over to the, wait a minute, the ship screen does not have an inventory. Where the frick do I want to go? If you go over to the fishing screen and then you go ahead and look at the inventory, not the inventory button, you go down to inventory and then you go into the inventory. So over here on this script, we can go inside of here, and this is the one that I wrote today. And what this does is every single frame, it will load your inventory and it'll check and see what is in the slots. And then using the logic that I coded priorly for the inventory, very complex and very strange, but basically uses indexing of 0 through 5 to see what is actually in an inventory slot. And then using that knowledge, you're able to see through a switch statement what color you need to make the background of it. And by updating every single frame, that means that if you're moving a fish into a new slot, you're effectively, updating what frame it needs to be in. So it's making a lot of unnecessary calls to the load function, but honestly, it shouldn't be that many where it's actually causing a performance decrease. At least I'm hoping. I don't know. I'm new to game dev. If any of you guys are watching and you know that this is going to hurt game performance, then let me know in the comment section. The other system that I worked on today is much smaller, but for some reason took me way longer than this one, which I honestly don't know why, but it's going to take me a second to get it set up here just in the tester. I'm going to have to spawn in some fishies, but I'll be back to you guys in a second to show you what the new one is. So now that I've sold enough fish and made it all the way to Island 4, we can actually go ahead and buy the bird, and the bird is the thing that we changed here today. So if we go back to the boat screen, the bird used to just kind of sit there up top and look really stupid. Now it does this even stupider idle animation. It still looks dumb, but it looks dumb and moves, and that's what matters in game dev, because it doesn't look like I'm lazy. Now it looks like I'm lazy and stupid, but at least I'm not just lazy. We also moved around a few of the other UI elements. The table is now up here at the top instead of at the bottom. This way the pet can actually walk around a bit more, and coming soon, we might be adding a character customization. I think that we may scrap that because I'm still debating how I want to price this game. And if we end up including in-app purchases, I don't know if we'll have a character customization in the game off the bat, but we'll have to wait and see there. There's all of the old systems are still up and running, like the sail, and of course the bird. You can swap out what it actually is if you unlock more birds, but of course, you would need more birds to do that. We moved down the bait redeemer a little bit just to make it a little bit easier for phones that have the little, bar here at the top. I forget what Apple calls it, but it basically makes it so that it's not hanging off the edge of the screen. But overall, those are all the changes that I made today for the bird one. I'm actually really proud of the logic on that one, so I kind of want to show that one off. If you come over to the seagull image itself, then you can see the script bird wobble, and in bird wobble, I have a really weird way of doing delay. So I basically have a Boolean list of 5 Booleans, and then every time it reaches the cutoff, the timer, the cutoff being ½ second, it'll swap one of those Booleans to true. And once the entire list is true, then it will activate the bird wobble animation. Then once it finishes, it will reset this entire list of booleans to false, and then it will make you wait another 2.5 seconds before it does the animation again. There is definitely an easier way to do this, and I've definitely made this so much more complex than it needs to be, but I thought it was a smart way to do it at the time, and that is really all coding boils down to be, is whatever I'm thinking of in the moment. So overall, those are all the changes that we made today. We just moved around some UI and finally made the rarity backings for the fish in the inventory. As you guys can see here, this is the Elite 8. These are the super rare ones. That's why they look so janky, but I feel like the jankiness is merited because they're a really, really, really rare fish. 1,004 odds. So overall, these are all the changes that I made today. If you guys enjoyed the devlog, then make sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Colby, go ahead and hit us with a bit of an outro.
Bye-bye.
Thanks you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one.